Ooh, I think we are here. Okay. Well, it says we're live. Awesome. Let me get over to comments. We're only a couple minutes late. Here we go. Yay. Hey, Lisa, Cynthia, Sue. Awesome. Deb's here. Yay, yay. Okay. Yeah. When I brought up StreamYard, it said like unexpected high volume. We're putting more resources together. It might be a few minutes. Hey, Carol. Then when I clicked the live, it said it again, so I had to try 4 times. Ugh. All right, well, I'm glad I'm here, and I see comments on both YouTube and Facebook, so awesome. I'm glad everybody's here. Mm. Yeah, I realize I haven't like worked on scrapbook pages in forever, and I don't even think I've made any ever since I started doing videos. So, I'm kind of excited to share this, and I only have like 2 things to talk about, and then we're gonna get to it. I'm probably just to give you like an idea. I think I'm only gonna get like a 2-page spread done, and I'm doing 12 by 12 today. But the actual, hey Jolie, I thought you'd still be like at the volleyball tournament. Ooh, my eyebrows are like cuckoo. Um, yeah, I thought you'd still be somewhere, but I'm glad you're here. But yeah, 12 by 12s, and we're gonna get into how I, figure out what I'm doing and all. But my goal is at least to just get like the 2 pages. You've never scrapbook, Carol? I love it. So that's really how I got started in stamping, well, like paper crafting, period. So my friend's mom, I mean, my mom's friend from church, her daughter-in-law had signed up with Creative Memories, and this was like 1998, 99. And so, of course, hey, Di, she was like, oh, so and so is going to have a party. I thought you might want to go. Well, of course, I went and I loved it. I was hooked. I had to buy all the stuff. And then after a year, so I bought like, the albums, and then they had a lot of, it was stickers and borders and markers. Like they didn't have letters. Like they didn't, you would just draw your own letters. You're finished today. They won 3, lost 0. That's awesome. Congrats. Are they going to be there like all weekend? Is this like a weekend tournament deal? That's really cool. Yeah, losing 0. That's really cool. But yeah, back then, Creative Memories, they were a great starter, like a great intro into scrapbooking. I loved it. Um, but then after a while, I was kind of like, I don't like the stuff. I don't like the stickers don't match the markers, and like they didn't really have cardstock. It was just like, border things and all that. Anyway, so after a year, I was kind of like, oh, I don't know about this. Then my friend Gail had craft day at her house, and that's how I got into stamping, because she was embossing something for her father-in-law and or her father. And I was like, oh, you got to show me that. And then like immediately I saw the catalog and I was like, oh my God. And that's when we had more Stampin' Up scrapbooking stuff. They had alphabet dies, kits, just like different papers, and I was all over it. So that's kind of like one of the reasons I got heavily into stamping, because I thought I would use it in my scrapbooks. And I did for a while, but like the last bunch of years, I just haven't really made like individual or even layouts of my own. I've done a lot of kits, like make the pages from Creative Memories or Club Scrap, and then you're supposed to go back and put pictures on them. That's like a whole nother craft in itself. So, oh, Julie, it's nationals. Awesome. I mean, that's just really cool that they made it that far. I hope they do good, like the whole weekend. Hey, Rose. So yeah, I've been more involved in like making mini books and little journals and stuff like that. But again, like gotta put pictures in them, right? Or you don't have to. Like it's not a race. It's not a competition. I make what I want. If I never get pictures in them, that's up to me. But I still love scrapbooking. So I think I might try to do more of this with you guys. It depends. Like if you like it, if I feel like I'm getting, because I like to get stuff done too. Because when we're done here, I'm going to have a couple pages done, ready to put in a scrapbook. So let's just talk about 2 things. You have many layouts awaiting pictures too. Yeah, it's a whole nother craft deal, like finding the right pictures to put in them. And I have like stacks and stacks of finished pages. Like I don't even know how many albums I could fill. Um, Someday. That's always on the list. Like someday. So yeah, two things to announce. Simply the Zinnias class that is get signed up, and I'm closing signups on Sunday, so the 19th. The other one they just announced today. I saw it while I was at work, so I couldn't even send anything out. Free shipping on Tuesday, the 21st, on all orders $75 or more. Excuse me. So that's like a 24-hour thing. At least they gave us notice, right? Sometimes we get 1 day's notice. Sometimes we get no day's notice. So at least we got a few days notice. All right. So how tonight's going to work. I made a list of, because I'm trying to share with you my process for scrapbooking. And especially for those of you that haven't ever scrapbooked, I'm not saying you have to do it my way. This is just my thought process and what I go through when I'm making pages and stuff. So I'm going to write down the order of things, although it's subject to, you can change, whatever. This is just how I do it. Okay. So let's go down here. Now, I did have to drag my camera up further, like, oh, and that's a little bit crooked. Hold on. Right. A little bit taller because since I'm working with 12 by 12, and even then it's like not going to fit the entire thing. Well, it'll be good enough. It'll be good enough. Sean, you scrapbook backwards. You design the page around the pictures. Well, and see, let's talk about that for a minute, because that's my first two steps, which are interchangeable. Is actually, I need a marker. Let's go with, I don't want brown. I want like purple or something fun. But that's the only Sharpie I have. All right, brown it is. So the first thing I do, I pick two things. I either pick my pictures first, and these are all little bits that I cut up that I am not saving. I know that will probably shock people, but all right. So I'm going to say 1 and 2, but these are in any order, really. Choose your pictures. So organizing pictures is another whole craft, right? That we could spend all day on. I know ladies that used to go to crops all day where we would pay to be there, and that's all they do, would go through their pictures. And I was assuming they were like organizing them or something, but they may have just been looking at them. But so you want to choose your picture so you know what you're working with. Then we want to choose our colors, and I'm going to say colors, papers, stamps, because you start thinking about a theme once you have your pictures. But I say these are interchangeable because in this case, I knew I wanted to use these lily pond papers. This was part of so I ended up getting one of my paper shares. Hey, Crystal Davis, is this what retirement looks like? It's going to be what retirement looks like in 6 years. Yes. So exactly. I'm going to be on here all day doing videos, making scrapbooks. No, I didn't write too big because people have to be able to read it. So, but yeah, for this, I wanted to use these papers, and I figured I was going to use whatever pictures I had. That I was really thinking I would use Mother's Day pictures from 2022, like the last Mother's Day I had. Well, then I was going through my stuff, and I realized, oh, I already scrapbooked those. I put those in a mini album, but I already had this cut, so I had to go find other pictures. So that's what I did. I found pictures. I've got my papers. Now, these are not necessarily going to match, but so these are my Minnesota. I went to Minnesota every fall for probably 18 years or so. But this is from 2010, and I've got however many pictures I have. I don't know. But that was number 3, is select, choose your pictures and then trim them. All right. Not everybody likes to trim their pictures. You don't have to. Like I said, any of these steps are optional, right? But I like to trim out all the, like this one had a whole bunch of other wall space. Like I just wanted to focus on these two. This is our friend Nikki and Dai. This is Nikki's daughter making a cute little card. But so I trimmed out all the extra of that. Here's Sue and Virginia. Sue was the ho-ho queen or the glitter queen. So Sue and Virginia. And we're at Virginia's house for this, by the way. This is what we do every November. Go for 5 days and just don't leave the house. And this is what our table looked like with all of our stuff on it. Like everybody sits in a spot and we have all our supplies like everywhere, and it's a creative mess. But so I personally leave some of them 4x6, but most of them I trim down, and I don't care if it's a wonky size because I'm going to custom, figure out what the mat will be. This is Virginia, and that's her sister Di. Another one of Sue. So Sue and I usually sit next to each other. And that's like everybody has their assigned seats. It's funny. And here's me and Sue again. Look at hardly any gray hair. Crazy. So me and Sue with her princess. And then again, this is like morning time. Sue's always up at the crack of dawn. We just crack up. She's the first one to get busy. And laughing. So that's my spot. And we keep the ink pads down here. So like if you guys ever get together and craft with your friends, I don't know how you work it, but so Sue and Di would always be the ink pad people. We would say, give me garden green, give me crushed curry. And they got to spin it around and get it. So Sue loved it. I hope she's on, or I hope she gets on later. And then the last picture, I always take a picture of Virginia's seat being empty because she's always gone. Hi, Leslie. She's always up, like, checking emails or making food or cleaning up or doing dishes or something. But we tease her that her spot's always empty. So these were my pictures. So I picked my pictures. I trimmed them. Now I have to decide how many pages am I going to actually make, right? Hey, Sue, you're here. Awesome. So I kind of organize them by size, like the big ones. 1, 2, actually, let me just count them. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So 13, and I am using 12x12. I happen to have Pretty in Pink. I did get the multicolor pack, so I got like 4 pieces of Pretty in Pink, Peach Pie, Petunia Pop, Shy Shamrock, and Summer Splash. But I also have 3 packs of just Pretty in Pink left from before it retired. So this is probably 10 years old because I didn't open my new pack yet, but it still perfectly matches. So 12x12 Pretty in Pink. I generally only want to put like 3 or 4 pictures on each 12x12. So deciding on the number of pictures, I said I had 13 pictures, right? I'm just going to write this down here. So I'll just say 12. There's no way I'm going to get 6 on each page. So I like to do a 2-page spread, which means I'll have a page here, left and right, right? And they will kind of, the design will continue on both of them. So we have, so it matches. So I cannot get them all on 2 pages. So I have to go to another set. So I'm going to say 4 pages. All right. So 4 pages, that means I can do 6 on one 2-page spread and 7 on another. And that's kind of how I decide. So that's our next step. Actually, 4 is decide number of pages. Number of pages. All right. Then we're going to say design your layout or use a sketch. And this is where a lot of people get caught up. Like, I don't know what to do. It can be as simple as just putting your pages on and adding like a couple of things, like a heart or a balloon or something, or use sketches. Plenty of sketches out there available on the internet. So I'm going to say design layout or use a sketch. I know years ago I bought a whole little tin of sketch cards from Club Scrap when we were like at the scrapbook convention. Have I even taken one card out of the tin yet? Nope. Dumb. But I still need to do it. And I used to get all those magazines like Scrapbookers, Creative, Keepsakes, scrapbook or something or other, and they all had designs. But now all of that is online. So you design your layout, and what I was thinking for mine was I wanted to use these squares. So that's my layout. Actually, and then we'll say create pages, but we're not done. So create pages. So now let's get down to doing some stuff. Oops, I lost the cap on my marker. Yeah, retirement would be fun to like do this whenever I want. Then I could be like Gail and Sue and just come on when I feel like it. All right, so I'm going to put my pictures away for now, but I am going to separate these into which layout, first or second. But let's talk about my design. So I wanted to have some strips of squares here. So this is 12 inches, and I thought, oh, hopefully a 3-inch square, I can lay them diagonally like that. So I took Post-it notes. So your Post-it notes are generally 3 by 3. And I laid a couple of them down here. And oops, here's some other ones. It's pink on pink, though. It might be hard to see. I realized that, so look at this. I wanted them like point to point. So start up there and just go. Well, that's too long. So I did have to do some math. I'm sure we were all in 7th grade, 7th, 8th, 9th grade, whatever, and did some algebra or geometry or something. I think it's geometry. And you thought, well, you'll never have to use that again. Well, it turns out you do. So you can just take my word for it. This is the good old Pythagorean theorem. A 3 by 3 should be about 4 1/4. And that's exactly what it is. The diagonal. Yep, 4 1/4. That's too long. So I just went down lower, said, what if I go a 2 3/4 inch square? Well, that turns out to be 3.88 across the diagonal, because the diagonal is going to be this way. Then I thought, well, let me try to get closer to 4. So let's go 2 7/8 squared plus squared, 4.06. So a little bit too much. So that's how I decided to cut all my squares 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. Okay. Don't you talk to me like that. Pythagorean theorem. That's dumb. So anyway, all you need to remember is if you want to copy this layout later, you're totally welcome to. You want 2 3/4 inch squares. And I chose 6 patterns. So as part of my paper share, I got like the 12 sheets. So I took 4 sheets, so half of it. And this is the Lily Pond paper. All right, the one that has, Gail just used this the other night, that has the ducks and, whatever stuff on it. I have no interest really in ducks. So, hi, Karen. So I picked the ones that had the flowers on it. Now, usually I would pick a fall theme paper for my Minnesota pictures because I always go in November and that's fall to me. But I had to get over that because I had already cut these and those are the pictures I'm using, so it doesn't matter. But usually I try to be more like in line with what's going on. And it does snow out there a lot in November, so I could pick snow, but we're doing Lily Pond papers just because I like these colors, and it'll be fine. All right, so let's spread these out. So I just did some math and figured I needed like 20, 22 squares, something like that. So I took 6 sheets and cut 4 pieces out. So I have 24 pieces of paper here. So what I'm going to do is get my 0 ruler, and I'm going to pick, because I want like the left page, the border is going to go down the left side. The right page, the border is going to go on the right side. But I'm going to start with 3, and they're all like pink, pink, pink. I'm going to just go with these ones because they're here. All right, and I'm going to start in the middle. So bring our 12 by 12 in. I want this piece to be in the middle, like as close as I can get it, maybe a 1/16 inch off. So let's put our 0 ruler up here. I got this from Creative Memories and I love it. I just have to remember to use like the right side. So there's like numbers on this side, no numbers on that one. And I'm sure it doesn't really matter, but I'm looking for the 0. and that is right here. So my first one, I feel like I need two rulers, a two ruler situation, because I have to make sure it goes straight this way. You know what I mean? Okay, that looks perfect. So for this one, I'm just going to use tape because it's easier for me to get all this down. So, all right, let's go back to this, our 0 point. And once you get this first one lined up, it's going to be fine. Oopsie. And also, if it's not perfect, who cares? All right, I'm just going to do that. Now that I have the middle one down, I can just come in and put this one, and it's going to go right to the top. So, nailed it. I wasn't sure how close it was going to be. And I feel like these might be a little bit crooked, but who cares? Now, this pattern of flower that's going like that way now, I'm not even worried about it. It will be fine. Okay. So I'm putting these big squares on first. And then I'm going to go back and I'm going to take some of the other squares and cut them in half so I can fill in this area. Yeah, I can tell something's... Yeah, like this is a little bit not as closer to the edge, but you know what? I don't care. I'm leaving it. Okay, so that's one side of our design. Now I want to take the other three prints and I'm going to go back and forth between both the pages. I'm going to take these. Now I don't need my ruler anymore. I can just put my paper right up next to each other. And then I can use this point as my center. Okay, so I don't have to redo all my with the ruler and stuff. All right, so, well, I should try to get it straight. All right, that looks good. And then I'll add my other ones. And then I'm going to figure out which I want to use for my halfsies. Because my idea is, I have to do 2 more spreads. So that's why I cut so many pieces. So again, I cut 6 by 6 pieces of paper to make these squares. So if you had 12 by 12, you can just cut accordingly. Now look, so that kind of blends in, but that's okay. So here's our spread is looking kind of quiltish so far. Let's just do this one. So I want, let me see. I don't want to use these prints again. So I'm going to do this one and this one. I'm going to cut in half to fill in here. And then I will pick, let's say this one and this one to do for this page. So I'm just going to quick cut these in half. And I'm cutting the diagonal to diagonal, like point to point. And I realize, this might be boring for if people aren't interested in like how I do it. This is just when I sit down to scrapbook, this is what I do. Everybody has their own process they go through, right? And sometimes it's trial and error. Like I'll cut something, put something on, and I'm like, oh, that's ugly, or that doesn't look right. And so I use my lifting tool to pry it up, and I start over. And really, it's only paper. If it ends up being terrible. What is it? Not as horrible, or what's the saying, Sue? Not as bad as horrible, or better than horrible. All right, so these were the ones I was going to use here, right? Yep. All right, so I'm going to take this, and this should fit right in here. And if I want to go in, oh, you know what? Then I can cut further and then fill in the ends. So, all right, let's do this. So I should cut the other prints And I feel like these aren't all going to fit like perfectly. So I'm going to put it right to the line. And if there's a gap in between here, who cares? Yeah, better than horrible. It's just funny. Gina K is the one that says that. That is just really cracks me up. All right, let's do that. So now we can see some gap in here. I'm okay with it. All right, I'm going to leave these for the next one. And then we'll put our triangles on here. And this time I'm going to put this one up here and then this one down here. And any extras I have to save because, you know, I've got a whole nother set of 12 by 12 that I need to do for my, since I'm only doing these first ones. All right. Yeah, I'm seeing more gaps, but that's okay. I do like getting it right up to the end in this case. And I really do like this because like you can use actually a whole paper share if you wanted, but now, you know, I'm only using half of it here. I like that. So I didn't cut that one. No, wait, I did. Let me put these in front here. These are what I use. So I can cut this and this for our second batch. And then I'm going to have to cut them. So I'll cut them in half and then in half again. And I'm actually going to do just one half. So I'm going to cut this in half diagonally. And then I'll cut this. So I'm butting the long end up against the back of my cutter and dragging it over till this point is right at the blade line. So I'm not measuring, and if it's not perfect, that's okay. I like doing different size pages too and albums. All right, so we're going to use all these half corners. So let's do, oh, wait a minute. I didn't realize I cut that one. 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah, they're all 6. Okay. Wah, wah. All right, so I'm going to put this up here. See how that's going to fit. Oh, sorry for this, all this around. So this is going to fit right here in the corner. Perfect. So I picked that one because the that plaid is in the other end. It's on the bottom here. So I didn't want, when I get down here, I didn't want plaid and plaid. So now we're going to take this one. I like this. And again, I'm going edge to edge. I like it. Now you could go even further out. Like you could make another set here if you want, but I feel like that's taking more and more room away from pictures. So I kind of want to leave as much as I can open. So that's our right side. Let's do this. And okay, we're going to do this one up here. And sometimes things just kind of like fall into place when you're playing around with something. I like it. And putting on the end there. Oh yeah, I like that. Now for this particular design, I didn't mount this. I didn't double mount it, I should say. This is just a pretty in pink base. If I wanted to, I could trim this down and make this like 11.5 or whatever and put this on a pretty peacock base and have the 2 colors. But sometimes I just like one sheet. So I don't always double mat my pages. And then again, that's another design choice. That's up to you. All right, so we've got our, this is our design, really. Create the pages. Now we think, do we want a title or no title? And where did I put my marker? So some pages you want to put a title on it, like, you know, happy birthday, something, something. So I'm going to put like Minnesota. Where'd that marker go? Oh, here it is. All right, so 7. Think about title or no title. So some people will have, you could create a whole banner right here. Sometimes I like to make the banner across the whole thing. Sometimes I'll just make like a focal image up here somewhere saying, you know, the big deal. Like I would put like Minnesota and then the year at least. Or you could put that in journaling. But so just think if you want title or no title. Then the next thing is to add your pictures. And I want to say Matt some. Is that right, Matt? Or do I have to? Oh, it's not M-A-T-T-E, is it? It's just Matt, like photo mats. M-A-T. Some. And I'll say not all. Now, this is my choice. Like my, I don't like to mat them all because I think it's overkill. I don't like to have them all naked because I think that's too boring. So I just want to say, you know, mat maybe half of them, but it's up to you. All right. And then the last thing would be to add journaling or and embellishments. Oops. Journaling, embellies. Let's say that. Now, when we get to embellies, I mean like cutting stuff out, adding a flower, a doodad. A lot of people like to put a lot of 3D stuff on their pages. I do not. Sean, you do very little journaling, and that's up to you. Some people, like my one friend, doesn't do any journaling. She just puts pictures in her thing. And I'm like, that's cool. Everybody to each their own, right? I like to at least just put like a date if I know it, or sometimes I might have to make it up and guess at the year or something. Like, really, especially Minnesota and convention pictures, it's hard sometimes to figure out what the year was if I didn't print it and write it out immediately. So, but yeah, journaling, no journaling, that part's up to you. So now let's do, I did cut for, let's see. I cut out some letters because I thought I will do not a full-blown title, but I am going to do spell Minnesota. You know what? I might leave that. So first I'm going to put my pictures on. I'm going to go out of order, even though this is what I say. This is just a guideline, okay? So, and I'll probably take a picture of this and post it later. Hey, Sharon. So now I have to figure out which pictures I want to put on which pages. So like, remember I said at the beginning, I have 13 pictures. So I'm going to do 6 on one 2-page spread and 7 on another. So now I just have to go through, and I like to space them out. So I want like a big one, some little ones. So these little ones will be together. Actually, I put that on the second one. Sue. I caught her. Virginia, this one has to go at the end for sure. So that's going to go in the other one. So 4, 5, 6. Maybe I'll do 6. Maybe I don't need Sue's back on here. Sue, do you want me to send you this picture? I think I'll put this one here. So our first page will be, let's do this. Sue is the queen. I like to get our, let's do this. This is like early on because the table's not really that messy. So I'm going to guess that's like early, like one of the first days. And then we'll do this. Let's move these around some. Lisa, your 2 sisters, you made a memory album for your parents' 50th. Oh, I love the idea. Yeah, 3D embellishments, especially, it bulks up your albums for one thing, but it also puts dents in your pictures. So like if you had a big old Brad here, when you fold that book, because people still usually store their books like laying flat, even though you're not supposed to. I store some of my flat. When you lay, you know, when the pictures lay on it, that lumpy embellishment is going to make a dent in this side, and that might be on a picture or something that you don't want to be wrecked. So yeah, I always just say, like, be careful with the 3D embellishments. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna lay my pictures, and I think this is what I'm gonna go with. And I want to embellish some. That's there. Let's do this one. That might be, yeah, because then I can add some, like my Minnesota I can put here, or I can put it here. All right, so let's just start with this. And I want to embellish, or not embellish, I want to matte only a few. I'm going to matte this one and probably this one. And I'm going to choose Pretty in Pink. I mean, not Pretty in Pink, Pretty Peacock and Basic White. So for the layer. So let's just do this one first. And I might trim those pictures down some more. I tend to trim, like, if I need to fit it in a certain space. All right, so like that one, I want to mount that in white and put that right down there. So this is 4.5 by 3. So you decide and be consistent. If you're going to mat your pictures, make them either 1/4 or 1/8, but just make it all the same. All right, so what did I say? 4.5 by 3. So let's just do, I'm going to do 1/8 inch. So 3 by 4 5/8. And this is going to be a lot of me, like, my cutter up and down, up and down. And again, I'm just using my tape because it's a little bit quicker for this. All right, so get that. Oops, not quite. All right, yeah, I like that. Now this one I'm going to do in Pretty Peacock, 5 1/4 by 3 3/4. I should be making notes of this just so. 3 3/4 by 5 1/4, just so I don't forget by the time I drag my cutter back up. All right, 3 3/4, and see how I hacked a piece of this off. What measurement is this? 5 nope, that's not gonna work. All right, let's do 5 1/4 plus 1/8, so 5 3/8. My cutter gets furry, like right about here. 3 3/4 plus 1/8, so 3 7/8. Ooh. So it would probably help if I trimmed my pictures to, like, all be the same size, but I don't like that. I like them to be different. Plus, I never know what I'm going to want to cut out. Like, whatever I decide is not critical. Ooh, I like this. Okay. So yeah, you don't need to mount every picture. Or mat it, really. All right. So you see how I am with the tape? Same way that I am with the glue. Like, using a lot of it. I just don't want it to ever come up. All right, let's put that there. I like this. Okay. And right there. I like it. Somehow my tape runner got a little wonky. Feel like I'm not getting, oh, there we go. It's straightened itself back out. All right, let's put this up here. And nice. So then I can put a little something here if I want. I can put a little square here that says Minnesota, whatever. Who is that in the pic that I just layered? So this is our friend Nikki and Dye. This is Virginia. So this is when I go to Minnesota every November. I stay with Virginia. And this is the house they don't live in anymore. But Virginia and Dye are sisters. And then that's Sue. And Nikki lives in Minnesota as well. I forget, is she at Blooming Prairie or whatever? She actually has a scrapbook store out there. But so Nikki and Dai. And then this is me and Sue. So this is from 2010, a bunch of years ago. We both have a lot more gray hair. All right, so that's our left page. And now we'll do this one. So again, here we are. Now, when I go to mount these pictures, so I'm kind of going with the same layout, like me, like that. But I don't want to mount them the same. So this, now I'm going to do this one, layer that with Pretty Peacock. And then maybe I'll do this one in white, this one down here. And then I'll leave this one plain. So let's do that. Let's get a little, is it going to fit on this? Yep. I got to cut this one wonky too. So let's just plan it. Let's do that. All right. So this one, and so you're going to have to tell me what this, I don't remember what this crown was all about. 4 by 3.5 by 4. So let's do 3.5 plus an 1/8. So 3 5/8 by 4 1/8. And that's going to go there. Dye, the tape runner that I use, this is, I know we've talked about this, Kokuyu. This is, I got it from Amazon. And I get this, and then the refills are separate. I think they came in a 5-pack. But this is what I use. I don't know if I'm going to get any more refills from this because I really do like glue better. I mean, I'm really only using it now because the tape is so much quicker than doing the glue for the pictures anyway. Plus, I don't know if the glue, you know how sometimes the glue makes like lines and you see it? If I saw glue lines under my pictures, I would be really mad because I would feel like that ruined it. So I may have to just keep using tape, at least for photos. I don't know. Options. All right, and then I'm going to do this one in white. And this is probably 4 by 6. Yep, 4 by 6. I think I might trim this one down a little. No, I'm going to keep this one full. I'll trim this one a little bit. Just because, like, we don't need the edge of the table. All right. So that's the kind of stuff I trim out. Things that aren't necessary. And I do want to stay, I want to get the whole width because here's our projects and I want the whole, I want to see like the whole thing. So now it's 3.5 by 6. So I'll go 3.5, get the white piece, 3.5 plus an 1/8, 3 5/8. Tell you that ratty edge, I have put tin foil and cleaned it. I'm gonna have to go with that with some more alcohol. Oh, I see it now. Okay, so I said 6 1/8. Oh, and then we're gonna add some little bits. All right, let's get this down. This seems bigger than an 1/8, but that's okay. All right, let's glue these down, or tape them down rather. You bring me the ad tack that you got from Amazon. Ad tack, is that a tape? That sounds interesting. All right, let's do this. I mean, I like this. It's just when I started using glue, like for the cards, really, I decided I like the glue better. But pictures are different. But this comes off nice. It doesn't get all boogery. All right, and then I'm going to put this. I may have to trim this just a smidge because I want a little bit more border between there. So we'll cut off some of my my arm fat. And let's go down 3 3/4, because I can't cut the top of her head off. Okay, that'll work. 3 3/4 by 6. Let's get rid of these little bits. Oh, I like it. And this one I'm just going to tape down. Oops. All right. Now I did bring out another set, which is new, Spotlight on Nature. I thought I might want to add some flowers or some butterflies, some of this. So I'll just show you one thing. All right, so here's our basic layout. Okay, 12 by 12. We've got our quilty border and then our pictures and then kind of the same. I know this is hard to get a good picture of everything. But I do want to add Minnesota and at least the years somewhere. I kind of think I want to do that here. So let's just pick this, and all these other bits that I cut are going to go on the next 2-page spread or layout that I finished the other picture. So, all right, I cut my letters out with this playful alphabet, and this is in pretty peacock. It's kind of a mouthful when I'm trying to say pretty in pink and pretty peacock. So these are all still attached. The beauty is I could spell Minnesota with all one pass. So here's the M. Here's the I. And then there's 2 N's. Here we go. E. S is down here. O. I think that was up. There we go. Sota. So let's go. There's the T, and then the A should be there. All right. Now I will save these until I realize I don't need them, and then I'll just throw that out. Realistically. All right. Now let's figure out, get all these little hairy bits off. Figure out how this is going to fit. So I may have to curve it. I may have to pick a different spot. I may have to go up here. Minna. Yeah, this is too long. Minnesota. Yep. Okay. Let's go over here. And it looks like this is the longest part. And if this doesn't work, it's going to have to be MN 2010. How close can I get these together? Pretty close. Minnesota. And it's not going to be terrible. Okay, you know what? I'm going to go for it. And I could move this picture over, but So I'm going to start with this A as close over, whoopsie, as close to this picture as I can get it. And if I go over here a little bit, I'm not going to cry. All right, I just have to make sure I spell this right backwards. Go across both pages. Xana, that is a good idea. Why did I not look up first? Because I do like that idea. Ugh, that's all right. That's not coming up. See how that like ripped the paper? But I do like that idea. I should have done that like here, right? How they're going to go this way, splitsies, and it could have been Minnesota. You're right. That was a better idea. Crap. It's fine. But yeah. You know, I don't really do that, go across, but that is a good idea. All right. Now, if you wanted to emboss these like with a folder so they had a little bit of texture, that's always cool too. I'm just trying to get them on here straight-ish. And really, it doesn't have to be perfect. But yeah, when once I started, I signed up with Stampin' Up, and because I was all gaga about all the letters and the scrapbook stuff. I think I always bought every alphabet set they ever had, and then didn't use them enough. I was really happier when they brought out dies, because then I didn't have to hand cut things, or it's just different. But again, you don't need everything. Like, you have a good set of letters, a good set of alphabet dies. I like to have different sizes, so that's why I've got these little ones. And then I still have the playful alphabets that retired. That's kind of like medium size. And then I have large. Oh, look, this is going to fit perfect. Okay. See? Oh, sweet. I love it. All right, now here's my, then I've got the numbers. 2010. Those were the days. I cannot believe. All right, got to get all these little hairy bits off. Yeah, I can't remember the last time. It was definitely before COVID. Maybe 2019 I was there. Because Virginia moved. I don't even know when. I want to say that they got rid of the Edina house. Was that 2016, 2015? I don't know. All right, now I'm just eyeballing here where I want to put these numbers. Ideally, I would want them centered, but we're going to get what we get. 2010. And then if I want, I can add a little bit, like a piece of white, and I'll just chop a random piece of white to fit here and do some words. I don't do a ton of journaling. I think when I first started scrapbooking with Creative Memories, I felt the need to put something under each picture or make a little caption or do something, and that was overkill. Especially when nobody looks at my albums except me. Because that's who I make them for. All right. All right, I like that. Yeah, I don't like always using white bases. I think that was one of the things that drove me away from Creative Memories, like as far as scrapbooking, like materials, because that was before they had their cream colored pages. So it was like everything was just white, and then you would add whatever. You could cover the whole thing, but I thought, what's the point of that, right? All right, so here's our basic pages, and what I want to do is, I got a few minutes. I'm at least going to cut one flower. So I know these flowers and leaves and the butterfly, I know it doesn't match these. Like, these are lilies or water lilies or some kind of something or other. I don't care about that. So I'm just going to stamp. I'm going to do what I do. And I haven't even trimmed these stamps yet. But this will be like my embellishment, is just to add a little something for interest. All right, I need a block. And I'm going to use, let's see, Catherine Pooler, Old Faithful, because then I can color it in. I did not get the Stampin' Blends for this year's In Colors. I just decided to get the regular markers, which are the ones that you get free, like with the starter kit. Let's do this. stamp a little bit of that off. I just felt like they're getting out of control, like with the price. And unless I really, really, really want a color in a blend, I don't know. I think I'm kind of over them. Only as far as buying new ones. Like the ones that I have, yeah, I'm going to use them till they dry up. But, I feel like they're just getting out of hand. All right, so I want that. And then let's do a butterfly. Just to do it. I like this little half butterfly. I did not get the new butterfly set yet, but that's going to be on my next order. So we don't all have to have everything all at once. All right, let's do this sideways. So you see butterflies and flowers in Minnesota in November do not make sense at all, because the only ones of those you see will be fake, right? You still have pro markers from many years ago. Hey, as long as they still work, like, all right, that has to dry for a minute. But let me get, I need my Pretty Peacock marker just for this, like this green bit. And oopsie, I didn't mean to hit that. Free shipping, yep, is on the 21st. Yep, $75 or more order. Yeah, Carol, I agree. I wish the blends would last longer. Because especially since we can't refill them. All right, so this is super dark. This Pretty Peacock, but it is what it is. Yeah, I wish they were refillable. Because that's a big investment, and then when they, run out, it's not like you can just easily match it up with a Copic color or something. I mean, Gail could probably figure that out, but me, no, forget it. I've got some of my ones from when they first came out, and they were a 3-pack. Oops, I'm getting crazy out of the lines now. They would come in 3 shades, which was good for me because I have trouble figuring out what goes with what. All right, let me get my Pretty in Pink marker. And I think the other colors in there were peach. So, actually, you know what? Let's do a little. So Sean will do color blending just with these regular markers. So that's what I'm doing. So I'm going to do the petunia first, like on the shading bits. And then I'm going to go over with Pretty in Pink. And hopefully this will work out. And you can always go over twice. And I like I hold it, the fat end or the brush end, like at the side. Because you don't want to smash that tip and wreck it. So just try to keep everything the side, kind of like a paintbrush. All right. So yeah, and then go over it again if you need to. So you still get some shading. It's all about using the colors, like whatever colors. So this is Pretty in Pink and Petunia Pop. I like these. All right. Yeah, I do like that. All right. Now for this butterfly, let's do, because all I'm going to do is cut these out and put them on, and then I'm going to be done. Let's do Pretty in Pink as the darker this time. I'll do some up here and up there, and then we'll come in with the peach pie. And again, I'm going to go over the whole thing. Ooh, I like this. I really like the Pretty in Pink and peach pie together. Because this is so orangey, and I mean, I love orange, and ooh, look at that. I'm cutting that off anyway. I love orange and pink together anyway, but can you see the little bit of pink, how it makes it a little bit darker? Hopefully I can get a good picture of that, like a decent up close. So, all right, let's just cut this out. And I'm just going to try to be careful around those antennas. And, you know, I'm probably going to go in with Winkostella. Give this some glitter. So as far as brads or dots, like pop-up embellishments, anything like that, I'm probably not going to put any of that on. Because like I said, 3D things, like, I'm not really a fan of. Now, when I make mini books and journals, that's different. All bets are off on that. Like, that doesn't even have page protectors. But when I'm making, like, a traditional scrapbook page like that, I'm just not a fan of the 3D things. All right, and yes, I am trying to get up in here for these antennas. All right, and I can see a little hard edge on that one. Okay. I love it. All right, now let's see how I can. All right, last thing. So I guess Penny didn't, she had sent me a text before I came on that they might get a power outage. They were expecting a tornado in Houston. And I'm like, ugh. I hope you don't have to deal with that. Ah, my scissors are caught. I mean, the power outage would be bad enough, but tornado, no thank you. How disappointed were we last week when that Northern Lights business, you know, we had like 2 chances to see it and it rained both nights and cloudy. Didn't see a thing here in Maryland. I think some people saw it. I don't know how, but I mean, some people in Maryland. Well, I know how, because the weather's not the same. 5 minutes down the road. All right, let's get rid of that. So yeah, if I was going to do this for a whole spread, like, I would probably stamp and color these flowers. I'm going to say 1 per layout, because this is, if I had a die, that would be different. But, you know, you don't need a whole bunch of doodads. You don't need a whole bunch of embellishment. The focus is on the pictures and whatever story you do or do not want to tell. The rest is just something pretty to look at and a reason to use the rest of our stuff, right? Oh, Lisa. I mean, I think it's just taking your time, and sometimes I get close, like too close to something. But yeah, I work my scissors up and down with my right hand, and then I do the guiding with my left hand. And oh, I realized I didn't really want to go down that far, but now I'm in it. And let's just cut that off so we have, it's not in the way. And I am going to want to go back in here. But this, I think, is the last thing I'm going to cut and add, just because, A, I don't have anything more that I want to put on here, and B, you guys got stuff to do. But yeah, I really need to get into my pictures and just grab stuff and start cranking them out. At the very least, I should find pages to put them on. like some of my already made pages. All right. And by the way, I do not scrapbook in order. That was another thing I felt like when I first learned scrapbooking, like with Creative Memories, I felt like just the way their albums were, I felt like I had to go in order, and God forbid you mess up and you want to try to add something like that you missed, so forget it. So I wasn't a fan of that part. But I like the whatever style. Stampin' Up! Does not have any 12 by 12 albums now. Hopefully that will change in the next year with their Close to My Heart edition stuff. But I still like the albums that are like binder albums. I really like the 3-ring binder albums the best. So whatever I can find, I will buy as long as I can get page protectors that match it. So I like just, you make the pages and then slide them down into the protector. All right, let's do this. But yeah, I don't go in order. So I will grab whatever. So this is 2010. I'll put these in an album, and then it might be Easter, 1999. So, ooh, yeah, I like this. All right, so I'm just going to put this down here. I like that. And that little butterfly. Now this I have to put glue down all. I'm going to glue it down first, and then I'm going to go back with some Wink of Stella. So yeah, butterflies and flowers. Not a Minnesota thing in November. But don't care. It matches. You like the binders too? Yeah. Plus getting the pages like in and out, like when you have to add new pages, it's kind of like a pain. But the people that are used to them, that's good. Oh, I may want to add some greeting there. So let's put this like right here. All right. Because I'll still add just a piece of white and write something in there. Okay, let's add Wink of Stella. And then we're going to be finished. Oh, yeah, I like that. Actually, I got to run that. And then let's put it on the flowers. I really like the Pretty in Pink and Petunia Pop. And then the Pretty in Pink and Peach Pie. Oh, yeah. See, look at that. Like how we get that shading, but yet with the regular markers. Okay, so that is this page. And like I said, I've got to do another whole 2-page spread with the other pictures, but they will be the exact same. I'll take pictures of all of them like once I get them done. But yeah, I'll add like another flower up here maybe bring in a different butterfly. I don't know. But that's the idea. And again, I will post, this is just my process, what I do. I'll just post this up for everybody so you can see if you want, right? So yeah. Oh, you need to print and offload photos and sit and scratch that. Yeah. So I've lately, like in the last maybe 2 years, no, well actually it's been since COVID. I use Shutterfly. Just so you know, like I'm not telling you do this, don't do this, but Shutterfly, using the app on your phone, you can order 250 pictures at one time for it's free, and you just pay the shipping, which ends up being about $25 or $30. So it's really like 10 cents a picture, which is what I used to get at Snapfish or CVS when I would order stuff, online. But on my phone, it's easier. It's easy enough. Sue had another one that I think was called Free Prints, and it was kind of the same deal, maybe a smaller amount of pictures, but the price was smaller. You only pay for the shipping or something. And I did 2 sets, and like I printed the same pictures out from Shutterfly and then from Free Prints. And I didn't like the Free Prints ones as much, but it's just another option, just try it. So, because pictures can be expensive too, right? Like everything. But yeah, so just a suggestion. All right. Thanks, Sean. Good night. Thanks, Zana, Julie, Di, Cynthia, Lisa, everybody. I am going to update my blog this weekend, but I'm only going to put the measurements of like the cardstock, like the base pages, and then the squares that I cut, because everything else is going to be like up to you guys, right? Like it depends. So yeah. Good night, Rose Carrie. I will see you. Good night, Carol. Thanks, Karen. Yeah. Thumbs, hearts, shares, all appreciated. And let me know, give me some feedback. Like, do you want to see some more scrapbooking pages? Do you not like seeing it live because it's kind of like tedious? Do you just want to see finished pages? Yeah, give me some feedback. So good night, Jamie Gibbs. I will see you on Saturday. I'm gonna try to get up there to see your last couple matches. So all right, good night, everybody. Thank you. Bye bye.